Wir machen nämlich direkt weiter mit unserem nächsten Gast. Der muss gleich zum nächsten Talk. Und da ist ganz spannend zu sagen, dass wir gleich hier auf der Bühne den wohl reichsten Menschen zu diesem Zeitpunkt auf deutschem Boden stehen haben. Es sei denn,
also die Ungleichheit in diesem Saal wird stark zunehmen.
Genau, es sei denn, Elon Musk ist irgendwo noch im Berghain und kommt da nicht raus. Aber ansonsten ist es auf jeden Fall so. Vielleicht zu der Person, die wir hier gleich auf der Bühne begrüßen, mit der Horst auch gleich sprechen wird. Das Ganze, soweit ich weiß, hatte auch so ein kleines Mysterium. Das Ganze begann bei einer Pokerrunde im August 2013. Da hatte diese sagenumwobene Gestalt die erste Berührung mit der Kryptowährung Bitcoin, hat direkt daraufhin sein Haus verkauft und sein Geld da rein investiert. Mittlerweile ist er Multimilliardär. Sein Vermögen soll, ich schätze mal, da gibt es auch minütliche Schwankungen, bei knapp 65 Milliarden Dollar liegen.
Ich werde ihn gleich fragen.
Du kannst ihn das gerne mal fragen. Ne? Und wisst ihr, kennt ihr das noch von früher aus der Schule? Da gab es doch immer diese Spendenläufe, die man gemacht hat. Und dann durften die einzelnen Familienmitglieder immer was pro Runde spenden. Meine Oma hat immer so 2 Mark oder sowas. Dann habe ich so 20 Mark. Stell dir mal vor, dein Onkel oder Vater ist CZ und sagt, ich gebe dir auch was pro Runde. Und nach 8 Runden hast du 24 Millionen Dollar auf dem Konto. Das wäre sensationell. Mein lieber Horst, viel Spaß mit dem nächsten Gast.
Ist er da?
Ja, er ist da und du begrüßt ihn jetzt auf der Bühne.
Ja, ich
hier mit
begrüße ganz herzlich
Applaus.
CZ auf der... Have a seat. CZ, so good to see you.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
Yeah. You're one of the biggest name in crypto in the world. Your company, Binance, has driven the industry for years and is by far the biggest crypto exchange in the world. And yes, we want to talk about your story, how you built this up. But and of course, we also want to talk about the crypto crash. But before we start, I want to show you a cover of Fortune magazine. It's you. It's the 74 billion man. The Bitcoin boom made Binance-Founder CZ as rich as Mark Zuckerberg virtually overnight. Now his trading empire faces a market slump and a regulatory reckoning. So the 74 billion man, what would be the correct headline right now?
I think the new number is 11 billion by Bloomberg, so it changes pretty quickly.
So this is already history. So it's the 11. So how do you feel right now with just so much money gone?
To be honest, I don't feel very different. When they reported that, before they reported that, I feel the same way. After they reported the 74, I feel the same way. And today, I feel the same way. So it doesn't matter that much.
Okay. The story of Binance is unique. Do you have sometimes pinch yourself? Did I really build this up within 5 years?
Yeah. So it is a little bit like a dream, to be honest. So it is a bit surreal. I did not expect that we will grow this fast, but I think there was very strong demand from the users. The industry is growing so quickly, and we're just one of the more successful players in this industry. So so I think the rising tide lifted all boats, and we did well within the rising tide.
Yes. So there's one story that you started trading Bitcoin during a poker night in Shanghai. Is this a myth or is it true? And can you just recall the story?
It is actually true. So so in Shanghai, I actually host a poker game in my house once a while. This is in 2013. And there's a bunch of entrepreneurs who are usually poor, and then there's a bunch of VCs who are a little bit richer, and we just play together. And it's a very small stake games. It's like $1 to $2 stakes, so you can lose like $100 a night. It's a very friendly game. But one day, one of them was Bobby Lee. He mentioned it first, but I didn't quite get it. He went on to become the CEO of BTC China, one of the oldest running crypto exchanges. The other one was Ron Cao. He's the managing director of Lightspeed Ventures in China. So at the time, I was in Shanghai. So they mentioned it, and I looked into it, and that was my first encounter into Bitcoin.
So then you started Binance. What was actually the key driver for your success?
Well, I think there's many things. We can boil it down to 3 large categories. I think there's product, there's service, and there's values. So product-wise, I think we have many features that other people don't have. Large number of coins, much stabler matching engine, so better UI, etc. Service, when we started, if you had a problem with a crypto exchange in 2017, if you log a customer support ticket, you will wait for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or more if you ever get a response. And this is when your Bitcoin stuck on exchange and you're trying to withdraw, the price is moving and just stuck. So we thought that's not so good. So we said 1 day maximum, hire as many people as we can. And then we said 1 hour. Today we have 2 minutes wait time. And we also have live phone support in certain countries now. So we're rolling that out. So service is very important. The third part is values. Values, what we say is we protect users. So for example, most recently, you mentioned the crash. At one point, we had $1.6 billion US of assets. We said we will go last. Let the retail guys go first. I'll give you another example at the very beginning. We started July 14th, 2017. By September 4th, so less than 6 weeks later, China said no crypto exchanges in China, no ICOs. This fourth project, our project was fine. We just did an ICO, but the BNB price was $6. No one wants to return $6 for $1. We helped 4 other ICO projects on our platform to run their ICOs. Those projects were underwater, and the project teams don't have enough to give to the investors whole. We calculated the difference was $6 million US. We said we'll take our money to compensate users for those 4 projects. $6 million US today might not sound like a big number, but this is only a month and a half after we raised $15 million, 1.5. So this is more than 40, and we were not profitable at the time. We were like, we're hiring people, we're growing, we're building the platform, buying servers. It represented more than 40% of our treasury in one go. But we spent that using our money to cover the other project costs. But after that, we got such overwhelming positive responses from the community. We got more users. So we've done a lot of things like that.
You have barely 1 day in Germany. Yesterday we made an interview for Capital magazine, and you have 24 hours, and you showed us your timetable. What are you focused right now on? I mean, what do you work on everyday operations?
So most CEOs need to do 3 things. They need to find funding, money, they need to set a strategy, and then they need to get the people, the right team. I don't need to do for the first 2. Our strategy is very simple. We're cash flow positive, so we have enough cash to grow and even invest. So I spend all my time on the people part. So I talk to people, I try to get the best people onto the team, make sure we have a decent structure. We're actually very structureless. We're very chaotic, but chaotic is also a structure. So I try to find the right structure for our team. And then the fourth part I do a lot is actually, I spend a lot of time talking with regulators, government officials, politicians, trying to help them to establish the crypto regulatory framework for our industry, and also to make them comfortable with us and also with the industry. So I spend a lot of time traveling, meeting regulators.
Before we come to your plans for Germany, I would like to ask, how do you look when the crypto world is in chaos right now? I mean, we saw collapse of different coins. How do you look on this, and how will this affect your marketplace?
I think short term, that's definitely a shock wave that's going through the crypto market, right? So many people are hurt, but what's more? So I think that's definitely a negative impact on the crypto industry. But at the same time, we've seen that crypto is actually extremely resilient. We've seen like $80 billion basically evaporate. But guess what? Bitcoin only went down 20%. Right? Bitcoin went from 40,000 to 30,000, and it's now kind of bouncing back a little bit. So the industry is actually extremely resilient now. And also, I know a lot of people got hurt, but this is actually, having shocks like this is actually a very strong reminder for people to learn about real projects. Don't chase high incentives, and understand that new projects are very risky. So it's actually when we survive this, it will actually make the industry more resilient.
So don't you fear that there will be a spillover effect to other parts of the decentralized finance world?
I think there's definitely the risk of that, and I think some of that is actually healthy. People should be more cautious about the other parts of crypto. More other stable coins should be scrutinized. People should take a cautious view of that. And we should look into more of what's backing stable coins, are they stable or not? So all of those tough questions should be asked and should be asked in a very detailed way. But I think that in the long term, though, this is having all those questions asked is actually good for the industry. So we see spillover effects in everywhere. When the stock market is down, it spills over to crypto. The reverse doesn't quite happen yet. Crypto is too small. But no, when one bank fails, it spills over to the other banks. But I want to point out that in a centralized system, when all the banks run normal, like pretty much the same way, they're governed by the same regulator, they're backed by the same central bank or the Federal Reserve. Those spill effects are much stronger because they're much more tightly coupled. In a decentralized economy, when one project fails, the other projects are relatively independent. They're not backed by the same thing. Then they don't use the same mechanisms. We actually saw BUSD went up because everyone's trying to convert into BUSD. So in a decentralized world, it's actually more resilient to this type of shocks. Yeah.
So you don't have this kind of Lehman moment, although it was even bigger. The whole loss was bigger than Lehman, actually. Right?
Yeah, the loss is bigger than Lehman. So Lehman, when it went down, was $60 billion US, and it has such an impact on the financial sector at that time. It's a much bigger market. But this is together. UST was 50 billion, Luna is 30 billion. Combined, we've seen $80 billion disappear. It's bigger than Lehman, but the industry it hurts. It hurts really badly. But the industry is extremely resilient. There's no government, there's no bailouts of other projects. The other projects so far, that dropped 20%. Big deal, yeah.
So you don't see the so-called crypto winter coming?
The winter may come. Crypto, in the last 12 years, crypto goes through 4-year cycles. And we have seen Bitcoin drop 20% even when there's no news. Sometimes even when there's positive news, Bitcoin drops by 20%. So we've seen crypto being very resilient. I'm not saying there's no winter. I do believe the market goes through cycles, so that's just my psychology. But I'm not sure. This will definitely has a contribution factor if we go through a winter, but this is not the entire cause of winter. And yeah, we've seen this many times.
You invested 100 million in Paris. But how important is Berlin or Germany for your plans? Do you want to build up just the brand, or what are your plans for Germany?
So Germany is a very important market. Is one of the G7 countries as well. And we're hiring a lot more people here. So anyone who wants to apply, please do. We are increasing our compliance team. I think we're doing a much better job communicating with the regulators here. And we still hope to get a license in Germany, and we want to grow our market here. So just because we are making a significant investment in one country doesn't mean we're abandoning the other countries.
Okay. So did you talk to BaFin already, and how open were the arms of BaFin?
I got to be a little bit careful. Usually, regulatory communications are confidential, but I can tell you that we're talking. Our team definitely is talking with regulators here and in all of Europe. So, based on, I have not talked to them myself directly. Based on my secondary feedback from our team, things are going well.
Okay. My last question, because you have to leave, and thank you very much for your conversation. You have a son. How do you stay in touch with him? Because you're traveling the whole world all the time.
WhatsApp. So I just use WhatsApp.
But it's tough for you to not. I mean, where do you feel home right now?
I do travel a lot, so I split my time between Dubai and Paris. So in the summer, Dubai gets a little bit hot, and so I'll be spending more time in Europe. And it's quite easy to travel in Europe, so I'll be spending a lot more time here.
Cizi, thank you very much for this brief conversation, and applause for Cizi.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Biggest crypto uptake.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cizi. All the best. Travel safely to Dubai or Paris. Und vielen herzlichen Dank an Horst von Buttlar. Bis später. Wir sehen ihn nochmal hier oben auf der Bühne. Super.